Wow, got a lot of news today, folks. Wow, incredible newsreels coming in. Stock market's pumping again. New all-time highs for the S&P 500. Exciting news. Now stay with me to the end. I go over my trading plan and speculation plan. So let's take a look at this. Today's Wednesday, May 13th, 2026, people. Got a lot of things to go over here. Just a short video. S&P 500 up at 74.57. It looks like a new all-time high. Crude oil tanks today off about 1.5% to 101. Gold trade still on. Silver bullion pumping. Boom, pump. Under Armour stock plummets as sales continue to decline. So I'm going to look at these different stocks and the decliners and dips. It's a daily price dips. So look at this. Under Armour, where's it at? So kind of look at this in the news here and see the big percentage gainers, daily price jumps. What stocks can I purchase? It looks like Dreamland breaking out, huge pump up 373%. Time to purchase some Dreamland and then sell some calls. TDIC, TDIC. We'll see here. So I'm just doing my research live on my news desk and my trading desk. No options that I can see for such. The stock's going parabolic though, up 3 on Dreamland. Planning and management of themed experience events, event planners. So I just kind of go over the news here. Robo AI pumping. Quantum Cyber NV. Let's look at this stock. Pumping. See if it's got options. Might do a buy the stock shares. No options. Breaking out to the upside. Quantum Cyber. Stock symbol QUCY. Big breakout up 200%. Dollar share, man. Robo AI. Methadone Electronics up 56%. So that's what we have. Let's read the headlines here. Under Armour. I'm just doing my own research on my desk here, And then UAA shares suffered a devastating decline on Tuesday after the athletic footwear and apparel company reported disappointing results. UAA, let's take a look at the stock. I'm just looking for the news headlines here to see if there's a play. It's around 2:30 in the afternoon. So that's what they're saying. The stock had dipped, but that may have played out a few days ago, yesterday. So we'll see. Old news, past week it's off about 20%. So, bar chart, I go over it first, and then I'm apolitical. Intel was off big yesterday. It's up nice, 1% today. The Tesla trade's back on. Micron Technologies up 5%. NVIDIA up 3%. Advanced Micro Devices active. Rocket Lab stock is getting a major lift. So Rocket Labs, we'll look at it. So I don't run commercials on my channel, but I do produce eBooks. So you can check out the links below. Published a book on Amazon Kindle. If you do computer programming like myself, the title of the book is Solidity Program for Smart Contracts. It's an introduction to the Ethereum blockchain and ChatGPT and Solidity coding prompts. So this is an excellent book you can read it for free. I'll put the links in below. But Solidity programming, the average Solidity programmer earns about $500,000 a year working remotely. So it's definitely worth it if you're a computer programmer like myself. So that's what we have. Now let's go back to the news here real quick. I look at bar chart, did that, and then Yahoo Finance. Been buying the breakout on SPY ETF all day, every hour, on the hour, purchase at high prices. The trend is my friend trade, but then I'm shorting it by selling the calls. Ford Motor Company stock is up big. I'm guessing there's some big news on Ford Must be fuel cells or something. F is a symbol. Ford Motor Company. Trending tickers today are Ford, Nebius Group, Apple Computer, Bitcoin USD, and Wolf Speed. So Ford's up huge. We'll look at the fundamentals. So our energy business optimism is the top performers. Are, Morgan Stanley analyst Andrew says gives okay. So we got news on Ford. Good time to purchase Ford on the breakout. And there's news on Wendy's also too. Nelson Peltz wants to take Wendy's private. So I might just purchase 1,000 shares of Ford at $13.71 and then sell a deep in the money call and then purchase a put. So the call options, I'm just doing my own research. The call options right now on Ford, the 1350 strike, are up about 5,000%. So they're telling me that they want to be sold. So I might do a buy right, purchase 1,000 shares of Ford and then sell, the $13 calls are up 8,000%. High today is 85 cents, so I might put a limit in there, split the difference at like 78 cents and pull in, the offer is 85 cents. I doubt I'd get that, but that might be a good trade. Let's buy some Ford and then look at the puts. Puts are getting clobbered today. The out of the money puts are off 93%. They can be purchased for like 4 cents, 2 cents. So that might be a trade. Ford's very well distributed stock, obviously, very famous shares. So I'm just doing my own research here on my trading desk. Let's take a look at this. So, blockchain ETF, SPY ETF, again, buying it every hour, on the hour, on the breakout, and then writing the call premiums. So I get call stock shares called away from me every 100 shares. It's never, the trend traders are chasing that trend up, and good for them, but I'm on both sides of the market. And also there's some narrative about the new Fed chair and their talk about the Federal Reserve, that hyperinflation is pumping so much that the Fed might have to now reverse and start raising interest rates. And that causes a potential deflationary economy, where you can't use the D word, but it could cause an economic depression. So we shall see. Okay, Apple Computer's active. My goodness. So that's what we have. Top gainers, I look at these today. Daily price jumps. What can I purchase? Dreamland up again. Quantum Cyber up huge. Robo AI, Fitness Champs up big, but thin companies on market flow. Here's Velo 3D up 50%. All right, thinly traded stocks. Let's see. Man, they're thin, but they're up big. Robinhood Ventures is up. Farmini up 27%. Too thin though, it's too small of a market cap. So here, I'll just look at market cap, see if there's anything there. So I look at these deals. Inferion Technologies, 99 billion. Infineon, I'm not pronouncing it right. Nokia, there's another deal I might do. Ford again, big cap. Meituan, Meituan, I don't know how to pronounce a lot of these deals. Big $74 billion market cap. So Nebius Group, On Semiconductors up 10%, 45 billion market cap. Tower Semiconductor, huge. Applied Optoelectronics, AAOI, up again, huge. So this is what I do. I look at the stocks that are extra large cap, that are up big, and then I look at purchasing the shares and then selling calls. Like Infineon, IFNNY. Just doing my own research, folks, is how I earn my living on my trading desk here is there call options. No call options that I can see, but that doesn't mean there isn't any. Nokia, might do some Nokia again. Plug Power and Nokia have been pumping. News on Plug Power recently, Nokia up to 11%. Been mentioning Nokia or Nokia. The options, I'm sure the 14 call options are up huge. So that's how I roll. So let's look at the news again. Top gainers, VNet Group, Q-Star, Applied, again, Optoelectronics, Nebius Group, Wolfspeed, and Wix. Wix getting hammered, off 25%. Residio Technologies, so Dynatrace, Birkenstock off 13%. But the most active, this is exciting, Ford, all right, Plug Power, which I mention quite often on my channel. NVIDIA is active again, the largest cap. Nokia, and then EOS Energy. So this is where the Momo is for option premium. A lot of news though. Ford surges on Morgan Stanley, gets bullish on energy storage business. So Ford is going to be doing some energy storage. I guess you got an electric Mustang, they store it up somehow. Or Trump lands in China for a Xi Jinping summit with Iran war in limbo. Warsh on verge of confirmation as inflation challenges the Fed. So we got a lot of news on hyperinflation. That long bond, the 30-year bond, is telling the story too. 30-year bond's 100% downtrend, and stocks are pumping like this at a new all-time high. There's people in this world that are a lot stronger in the long bond than me. Oil holds steady, shrinking inventories of oil. So that's what we got. Look at the geopolitics. The news stories, 30-year mortgage rates, initial jobless claims, and then pending home sales. So this is what we got coming up on the calendar. So Dow's up nice, S&P's up, the Dow's up okay, the Nasdaq's pumping up 1.34%. The triple Qs are pumping. So that's what we got. So I know my videos are awkward. I don't edit them, but you guys tell me what you think, And let's look at, I bought the dip on Bitcoin. It's off about one time today. It was off as much as Bitcoin off about 3%. So I bought the dip. I let it come to me at the pivot points. Squared off some huge profits in Bitcoin recently, but in this last week, Bitcoin was pumping to about 82,218, and now it's on the dippy dip. We shall see. So everything today is scarcity. Precious metals is pumping again. Might be a good day to sell some call options on some silver mining stocks. So silver bullion. I'm not a financial advisor. I got to say that. I don't give financial advice. I don't care what you guys invest in, but I give you transparency into how I think. So, my goodness, we got a lot of pump out here on the SPY. It's never too high to buy. So, let's see. Active stocks, silver, gold's up 9, but silver's up $3 to 88.50. Cocoa is off, tanking again, but it pumped a bit. Stocks that are active, Micron Technologies, again, NVIDIA, Tesla, SanDisk, Intel's active, Advanced Micro Devices, Apple Computer, Google is amazing, up 4%, Nebius Group, NBIS, up 19%, and Amazon, so they're all, and Sony stock eyes recovery as a technical setup firms, stock symbol SONY, Sony. So that's what we got. That's on bar chart. So then I look at geopolitics too. CNN, Let's see what CNN's reporting on the left over here. Taiwan anxiously eyes Trump summit in China. Is China going to take Taiwan? Alex Murdaugh orders a new trial. So they overturned the persecution. So apparently there's corruption in the system, and there's some, I don't know the whole narrative, but that's nothing new. So good. They do a new trial, instead of the falsification of discovery or whatever. They said the bailiff did something, influenced the jury or something. All right, I'll read the story. South Carolina Supreme Court, Alex Murdaugh ordered a new trial. It was marred by improper influence of the county clerk, Becky Hill. So, political influence, Becky Hill, 5-1 ruling. The court said Hill placed her fingers on the scales of justice, thereby denying Murdaugh his right to a fair trial by an impartial jury. So good. I'm glad. I'm not saying he's good or bad, but I think it's good that he goes through the process here. Although we are aware of the time, money, and effort expected for this lengthy trial, we have no choice but to reverse the denial of Murdaugh's motion. So he should be released, pending a new trial. And then they should arrest, you would think, that Becky, whatever her name is, should be persecuted. You would think, right? In fairness? But I don't know. Opinion only. So news on that. It's geopolitical and socioeconomic. What do we got here? The Cannes Film Festival, got it. Iran ceasefires on life support. Hyperinflation. Wow. So that's what we got. That's on CNN. Let's look at Fox. I'll look over here on the right. Fox News. Vance takes questions at anti-fraud event after announcing a new crackdown. You got all those, my goodness, the corruption, government corruption is just rampant. So, saying that the war in Iran cost, I think, something to the effect of $29 billion. And then talking about infrastructure here in the U.S., So, South Carolina Supreme Court again overturns Murdaugh persecution. It should be. Former SEAL Team 6, news there, women, okay. So everything's PC, democratization of everything, computer chip trades on, the AI, artificial intelligence trade, scarcity, fuel cost, fertilizers from the Middle East, the ammonia fertilizers, man, rare earth. You got China. I'm sure I can imagine what's going on in China with Trump, the art of the deal in Taiwan, and Taiwan Semiconductor. Running about 18 minutes, people, but I go through this process every day and look at, what are the major topics that people are talking about and want covered. And I do my own research. So it's hyperinflation, the Federal Reserve taking interest rates up. Got a lot of news there. So, have you guys experienced hyperinflation? Oil, gas, Bitcoin, and U.S. debt crisis is a big to-do. The U.S. debt bubble is just getting bigger and bigger, and now they're contemplating taking interest rates up, and that 30-year bond is peeling off, and stocks are going up and up and up. So it's the reason I'm fully hedged, guys. Remember, Warren Fluffett says not to own this. This is all, I own thousands of these. .999 silver bullion. You know, I saw them on e-commerce, and silver's now pumping. The national debt is 39 trillion. And some are saying it's closer to 100 trillion in unfunded debt. The debt bubble keeps getting bigger. Are we going to see quantitative easing, quantitative tightening? The Fed's going to fight inflation and pump the interest rates up. Could be like a 1980 where they take interest rates up to 18%, which I know that sounds inflammatory, but hyperinflation soars. Here's the things that you guys need to be focusing on. You know, owning tangible assets, real world assets. And of course, news on UFOs. And also, now's the time, guys, to start preparing for events possibly here on the homeland, here in the U.S. I pray against it, but, you know, we got wars, China, Russia, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. You know, the U.S. is at war with against the BRICS nations. You know, India is a major world power. You know, we got, so massive events possibly here on the homeland. So you got to be a prepper and learn how to be self-sustaining. And then, my goodness, so how do you survive hyperinflation? I own thousands of American Eagle coins, you know, that I own those. They're pumping. Never too high to buy, never too low to sell. You know, I'm shorting the stock market. I'm going long the indexes and then shorting it into that pump. So we shall see how that plays out. So that's what I have for today. I'll go over my trading plan. All right, so I'll DCA. I bought the dippy dip on Bitcoin at the pivot point down close towards 78,742 is the low of the day, so just above that on the big price retracement. So as we got there, I'll continue to so I set pivot point trades on the retracement, comes to me, and then I also DCA it. So I'll do both today. Cleared out some huge trades on SPY ETF, taking profits there. So I'll DCA Bitcoin today. I'll DCA SPY ETF. Squared off some profits in blockchain ETF, BKCH. You know, sold that for a nice trade and bought some dip on Solana also too. So that's my trading plan. Running about 22 minutes, guys. Let's see what's being reported on BBC. There's been some political news there. Trade, Iran, Taiwan, and the agenda as Trump arrives in China for high-stakes talks with Xi Jinping. Taiwan people. Starmer meets ministers. There's political news again. Alex Murdaugh. Philippine news. So we got a lot of news on politics, socioeconomics. It helps me get dialed in, you know. I'm an old timer, but I still try to remain relevant, you know, and then read the news every day and then position myself to profit, do my own research. So, daily price dips. Let's see if there's any puts I can sell here. And look at the large market cap. Almonte Industries dipping. Birkenstock is off, $6 billion company. Dynatrace is off 13%. Big dips here on large. Some Commonwealth Bank dipped 10%. Let's look at the daily change. The big dippy dips here. What's peeling off? Reed's Inc. is too small float. I like the big cap. So that's what we have. I give thanks for my abundant supply now manifested. I have it now. Had huge rainstorms that come in the last couple of days, doing the rain dance. Hey-ya, 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 hey-ya. and it worked. But total drought conditions here in North Florida a month ago. Now we've got, it's doing a lot better. We still need more rain though. So I was able to manifest rain, I believe it. So that transpired. So that's what I got. Like and share. Tell me what you think. Got some new Patreon supporters. Very thankful for that. You can see my Patreon links down below. I put everything back into my channel. And Google's amazing. Say hi to everyone on Twitter and on LinkedIn. Hey, LinkedIn. On YouTube, thanks for tuning into my channel. You know, it's just outrageous, the cost of things at the grocery store here recently. It's just unreal. Cost of everything's going up. The only way I've been able to survive it is buying the dip on Bitcoin and then doing the big breakout trade on the stock indexes and then looking at, where is the momentum swing where I can earn a living. Prices are accelerating now with hyperinflation that is out of control, people. Home sales, new home sales. I got houses all in my neighborhood that have been on the market for 6 months. They keep changing real estate agents, but no showings, no offers. So there's a buyer strike. Now if they have to take interest rates up, and then that's going to cause price houses, it's going to be a battle. Interest rates go up, there's already a buyer strike, and then people won't even be able to afford a house. So that's a big thing today, is affordable housing. How are people going to survive hyperinflation? That's why I own precious metals. Diesel fuel runs out soon enough. It could. There's been shortages of diesel. A lot of people can't sell their houses in markets. And then there's people in South Florida I saw, they have a $300,000 condo and they got a special assessment for like $130,000 or $140,000, like half the value of the condo. So how are they going to pay that special assessment? And the thing too is that many of the people, like in South Florida, they're on a fixed income, so they're damned if you do, damned if they don't. If they can't sell the condo because no one wants to purchase it, and they're getting the special assessment at 40% of the value of their condo, so they have to pay it. And they have fixed income, so they don't have the resources to pay for the condo fees and the assessment fees and the property taxes that keep going up, and then the same paying for prescription medicines, and the cost of drugs keeps going up, and healthcare and Medicaid. The things that are selling though now here in the country is the tiny homes. You build like a house like 400 or 500 square feet, it looks like a birdhouse. You can go to Costco or Sam's Club and purchase a shed and then purchase land and then put it on the property, and people live out of them. Pay $4,000 for a shed. It looks like a little tiny house. It's not that bad of an idea, but you have to commute then 4 hours to get into a city, so it's very rural. So RV industry, RV, man, are collapsing. It's described as an RV apocalypse. And also too, Walmart. Walmart's been empty. I went to shop the other day at Walmart. There's no shoppers there. Costco is doing well, but there's also some news too recently on some bank closures and potential bank runs, especially with the private equity. So, man. So let's check the weather. I have my weather app that I own. I created it. It's Agentic AI, weathermist.com. It's Agentic AI meets meteorology. Feels like 81 degrees, but it's 76 degrees out. Higher humidity at 79%. Now the AI, the artificial intelligence alert, says there's no active weather alerts at this time where I'm at here in North Florida. But I'll look at the full screen here in the map of the US. It works everywhere on the planet, but where I'm at in North Florida. Now, Ocala, Florida's got a storm. Leesburg, Florida has a storm approaching. And also, where is this? My goodness. Near Lake Butler in Florida and Windermere and Celebration. If you're in Celebration or Hunters Creek or Williamsburg, Florida, it's time to hunker down. There's a big storm there. So check out the links below. You can see for weathermist.com. So careful, people. Or if you're in New Smyrna Beach has a storm that AI is alerting on. I'm just using my agentic artificial intelligence app that I own. I created it with the best computer scientists on the planet. And it's getting a lot of traction too. It's so much better than, there's no latency. It doesn't use historic data. It uses agentic AI to find the weather storms. You need weather information like right now, 7 minutes or a half hour before the weather storm. Got some big storms there pushing through Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and also too in, Parkersburg, is that Virginia, West Virginia? And then also too Pittsburgh and my goodness. And then Altoona, Pennsylvania, you guys have a storm coming. It's alerting on weathermist.com. Butler, Pennsylvania, got a big storm there. And then it looks like upstate New York. Whew. So now's the time to hunker down and to use weathermist.com. Looks like it went through Cleveland recently in Youngstown, Ohio. But to give you a heads up in advance, it going towards Syracuse, Auburn, New York, and then Hornell, New York. Got a lot there. Watkins Glen. Got a lot of storms coming. So careful, make sure you use weathermist.com. It gives you a heads up for the meteorology, big storms coming through for western Pennsylvania and into Allentown, Pennsylvania, heading towards Philadelphia. So careful. Use weathermist.com. Nothing else. I mean, the rest of the country's fairly clear, but man, careful if you're from in Pennsylvania or Baltimore, Maryland, or Delaware, or Philadelphia, or New York, or Connecticut, or Ottawa in Canada. There's big storms there in Canada, near Ottawa. In Montreal, there might be some storms heading your way. In Sudbury, Canada, and Newfoundland too. So check out weathermist.com. I use it every day. Run about 30 minutes. Great news stories, people. Stock market's going to close, market on close here. We got a lot of news. SPY ETF. I'm so thankful. I give thanks for my abundant supply now manifested. I have it now. So I'm like, silver bullion. Yeah, back in. Look at silver stocks. Might be selling some silver call here on, let's see, First Majestic Silver. Let's see, the stock symbol's AG. I do my own research, looking at what stocks are pumping. Pan American Silver, PAAS. Stocks pumped decent. Let's see all the stock shares. So, Newmont Mining, Wheaton Precious Metals, King Gross Gold, Barrick Mining. Again, news on Wendy's, on the meme stocks. So how are you going to tell me? Leave comments below. What's your plan for surviving hyperinflation? Do you own enough precious metals? Scarcity? Have you been affected by scarcity? I have. Gone to the grocery store and they're like, many times you order something, it's on back order. Then you have to go back to the store and say, well, is there an alternative that's not on back order? And so you have to not get one medicine, you have to get a generic, or there's scarcity for everything. My goodness, people. And the thing is, China produces so much of the medicines here in the U.S. So, and the goods and services, all of the Chinese products that are shipped here in the U.S. So what happens if China and the U.S. gets into a trade war and they shut down medicine production here? Next thing you know, there's no medicines here in the U.S. And talk about scarcity. So these are real things. Now, like I was saying, it's time to be a prepper. I'm a prepper. So that's my narrative for today. Tell me what you think. Like and share. Have a great day. And let's see if the stock market keeps pumping to all-time highs, or is the Fed going to shut things down and start taking interest rates up? You tell me. Thanks, everyone.